Greetings, everybody! Welcome once more to the Dracovin Empire. Are you ready to dive into the world of Athas now? The world of Dark Sun once more. You are. I'm going to be your host and guide today, Pantis Dracovin. I will lead you through a portal through the universe to Athas, where we can visit it and learn about a city-state that is outside of the Tyr Region, one that still is occupied by a Sorcerer King, that is outside the sphere of influence of the realm that we know about, the realm that is settled on the purviews of the kind of settled world. You're ready. I will guide you to Eldaarich. So please do give me some support over on the YouTube side of things, like subscribing the bell, and let me know what you think about this. This is interesting because it's a city-state you really can't visit. We'll talk about it. Grab my hand. The portal's open. We're ready to travel there. And Eldaarich opens. Eldaarich. Now, if I was to look into this, well, the only source is the source I'm using today that I'm using now. There probably are some other books from 2nd edition that use this, but unfortunately none in 4th edition, which I'm very sad with. 4th edition didn't get a lot of books on Dark Sun, so the one I'm using, of course, is the Dark Sun Campaign setting revised box set, in which The Wanderer's Chronicle is the book in there. So it's the box set, the revised one from AD. And this provides us a pretty good view of what Eldaarich is. So I'm just going to try to summarize the best I can to let you know that. Alright, let's just begin then. Let's start with it. What is this? Eldaarich occupies a small island on the Sea of Silt, just off the mainland. It's isolated from the rest of Athas, and has about 21,000 citizens, huddled and paranoid under the delusions of their mad Sorcerer King, Daskinor, who's the ruler of this place. Daskinor is just that. Mad. Paranoid. He believes there are forces out there out to get them, and these forces change. Some may be true sources, most are imaginary, and even the true ones are not to the degree that he does. But from time to time, something new becomes the imagined source of his fears. And tries to destroy them. Destroy these imagined enemies, and anyone that has a resemblance or a seeming connection to them. That is what he is. And he's never been stable, is the thing. Even in the beginning of his reign, he was tormented by his fears, his nameless terrors that hit upon his mind. But for a number of centuries, everything was fine. His paranoia, though, would overcome him. Bouts of panic that could last for hours, days, even months at a time. Eldaarich is constructed from his fears. Fortified walls, strong military, devoted Templars, retractable bridges, a series of keeps and forts. The entire city-state is surrounded and secured against outsiders. This fort became a prison of the king's own making, and a prison for the citizens, locked behind the sturdy gates and high walls. Approximately 7 centuries ago, as the time of revised campaign settings, the paranoia became too much. The city was sealed, cut off from all other city-states. 10 years ago, some limited trade of House Azel, of Kern, just a note, another city-state we're going to talk about in a series still that is technically outside the Tyr Region, has begun. Kern is to the north of the Tyr Region, along the road. So, it is still an isolated prison city. That trade doesn't occur in the city, but it's there. Supplies are coming in. But the fears Daskinor has, it spreads to everyone in the city. The gates are closed. The society is closed. And this is both figurative and literal in a lot of sense. So if you look to who's in charge and who rules this place, of course it's Daskinor. And this is his dragon form. For, like most of these sorcerer kings, rulers of these cities, they seek to ascend to this level of dragon. I do have to talk about that in a video at some point in time, how the dragons are connected with sorcerer kings, but this is an image of him in his form. He's at the top. And his delusions, though, color the things. His chaosism, his paranoia, spreads like wildfire throughout the city. bringing the city almost to a frenzy. So, the only thing that functions is that the citizens are a subdued lot here. They live in fear, in a kind of anarchy in a lot of ways. Daskinor looks over his shoulder at assassins that don't exist, and so do his Templars and nobles. No one is trust each other. And this does work out for the best in a lot of ways. Fear of murder and betrayal is along, and it could lead to people lashing out with fear and murder, but again, it's maintains mostly stable, not really great place, but stable. The nobles and Templars, they kill each other. This could keep from paranoia, from each other, from killing each other. You know, oh, you're going to get me, I'll get you first. But it could also be for power, position, and just tension. That just breaks. Fear is something about fear of outsiders, fear of other, fear of the unknown. And society is closed off. The delusions continue, and they spread. His fear becomes everybody's fear. Daskinor rarely ventures into most parts of the city. His paranoia doesn't help him. And when it goes to fever pinch, he ceases to function. His senior Templars are who cares for him during this time, when he's basically overcome by so much fear he just breaks down. And sometimes that paranoia leads him to give a name to those fears, and the city mobilizes to combat this threat. The current threat, as again of the time of this writing of the book I'm using, was psionic people. They were outlawed. So, low-powered psionics, wild talents, all to be imprisoned, subjugated, or killed. The only psionic that was around is Daskinor, because he is the most prominent one of them all. The Templars administer the city, and they act as his eyes and ears. They're charged with watching for signs of treachery in the masses, dealing with the treachery before it gets out of hand. They are also paranoid and delusional. Hey, it spreads. And now for fear. So yeah, it's a police state. In all sense of the word. The Templars are the police. They command the military, they oversee records, distribution of goods and services, they hold the power of life and death in the citizens' hands. So here's a map of the region, and you can see that road that's in the bottom there goes down south towards the Tyr region. But you can see where on the island that's kind of just below me is where our nice city here of Eldaarich is. And of course the one they're trading with is over there, Kurm on the coast. But this is the area that's just kind of getting outside the Tyr region into more desolate areas. So, we do have a return of content, yes, but it's not very deep. High Templar Carolus has allowed House Azelf Akun to set up a small village of Siltside, with the purpose of conducting trade. Basically, the trade Templars only interact with that house, and it's only the trade Templars. And this interaction only takes place on Siltside. Outsiders aren't allowed to go any farther than this. All merchant houses have to go through House Azelf. So if they want to get their goods into Eldaarich or buy stuff from them, it's a one-way street between this ones. Elzeth is the middleman. Now they're smart. They don't have huge price cuts and price gouging here. They keep business to a norm. Because, well, business is good. If you want to trade, they got to go through them. So it's been a good relationship as of now. Has a little bit of trust, but again, how long will that trust go? Daskinor can easily send his troops to destroy Siltside just when another delusion takes over. So it's a 10 years going and it's working for now, but who knows when that's going to break down. Eldaarich doesn't have to worry about food. They grow the majority of their food in protecting the village of Southgard, and they have farms and fertile fields around the city-state. They have official food stores from the traders, but they really need iron, obsidian, textiles, and other staples of Athasian life. They export silver and gold. It cuts them from difficulty. It culls them with great difficulty from nearby mountains that are rising out of the Sea of Silt. So yeah, some of those mountain peaks that are coming out of the Sea of Silt, they have ways to go into them to get gold and silver, and that's their major trade that they're sending out. For iron, obsidian, textiles. In the city, every outsider wants to destroy it. Everyone wants the lives of those within the walls. Everyone wants to betray you. That's what the people believe. That's what their leaders believe. That's what they've all been taught to believe. That nowhere else in Athas would be good to them. It comes down from Daskinor himself, the paranoid. So they're all subdued with those outbursts of violence when it gets too much. When the terror gets too much. It can happen. A delusional artist can strike out a Templar in a Nova. Paranoia can rise. And life isn't good, because Daskinor doesn't trust anyone. So it only allows the Templars to distribute the bare essentials to citizens. And this goes from nobles to free citizens to the slave caste. Just enough food and water to sustain everybody. And maybe a few personal possessions. So it's a sad, pathetic lot of people that you don't really have a hell of a better life. No concept of better life outside the walls. If the notion comes out, the ingrained fear basically breaks it down. Noble, free citizens, and slaves of Eldaarich all are under the Templars, and kind of slaves to them. And in turn, those are slaves to Daskinor and his followers. Basically, there is no freedoms in the city. Even in a lot of the other city-states, where they are despots and dictators, there are still more freedoms in those places that are given out. Daskinor just believes freedom is an opportunity to betray his trust. So that people are oppressed, miserable, terrible lives where you're at the brutal whims of the High Templars or brutal whims of Daskinor, and down the line. And nobody's in good shape. The population is mostly human, with some dwarves, half-giants, and some moles. There are a few Aarakocra, but they're in the slave pens because Daskinor hates the Aarakocra. Hates them in particular, and has special competition for capturing them from the White Mountains nearby. Yeah, just likes them happy. If you are a traveler that should somehow find yourself there, it's oppressed. It smells. It's mental illness that hangs in the air, the crowds, the madness, it's all. And you never know when it's going to strike out. It's diseased mind and diseased body. That's Eldaarich. Now, as a final note, the Veiled Alliance. I haven't really done a video on the Veiled Alliance, I'll do it in the future, but they are a group that's meant to overturn the Sorcerer Kings and go against them. They were in Eldaarich. Daskinor, in his paranoia, actually managed to destroy them pretty much in his city-state about 400 years ago. The Preservers. When they basically became his enemies. And I'm not saying he wasn't their enemies anyway. But there are still preservers in the city. They're not, many of them are hidden, they're weak, they don't have a lot of training. And there are still some people that, from Kern, that do sometimes sneak in to provide training and to see what the condition is, but they don't do that often because being caught sneaking into the city is death. And if you discover where they're from, well, it can result in war. And, again, the Veiled Alliance doesn't want war because it's going to hurt the normal people, not the corruptors, not the Sorcerer Kings. So they don't want war. But they try to find out what's going on there. See if there's stuff they can do to help a city that's maybe doomed to madness and power. That's, Eldaarich. It's the most extreme example of what can happen in the city-states. The paranoia, the madness, suffering from their Sorcerer King. An incredibly powerful being. A nigh unto God being to them. I could crush any of them with a thought. Gone mad with paranoia. That's terrifying. The only thing that can stop a Sorcerer King is a Sorcerer King. But Eldaarich, no one wants to fight that. Why? It's madness. It's a fortified little place, heavily defended, on an island. And they survive. They have food. They have water. They've done some trade. They do survive. But they don't thrive. They don't grow. They don't live. That's the people. Certainly, doesn't mean there couldn't be an adventure there. I have high doubts that there are many good stories. Aldrich. All of them will end in tragedy. But doesn't mean they couldn't. So I hope you enjoy learning this place. But I'll leave that there. The tragedy and sadness of Aldrich is pretty interesting one. And I do hope that, hey, do the YouTube stuff, and let me know what you think about this. Are you actually got some good ideas for an adventure there? I could come up with a few ideas, but it's one of those things that's such a depressing place. I'm like, I probably wouldn't use it in one of my adventures. But I could see possible points of entry. Maybe you remember the Veiled Alliance checking it out, trying to infiltrate the place. Or maybe you're a small group of people that are preservers. Or maybe just a group of people that are friends that have some hope. Seek to escape the city. You know, escape the paranoia just beating down. There are stories to tell. They won't be happy stories. They're stories. If you want to check out more of my stuff, you can always join me either live on Twitch or over on YouTube. I do record all my tabletop-related stuff over on the YouTube and stream a bunch of it, or on the Twitch side, and do upload it over to the YouTube side of things. That's my things like this, where I talk about stuff. There's live plays of shows. Currently I have a Pathfinder 2nd Edition game, Fall of Atmoswell, Wednesdays at 8. That's my tabletop discussion show, discussing tabletop Saturdays at 6. Kind of a podcasty thing where we talk about news of the week more. Probably the original active podcast at some point in time. And of course, I do some gaming over on Twitch. Then you can always join and chat with me about something, tabletop related or not. I'm always up for a little conversation about different topics. Everything tabletop related goes to upload to YouTube. Check out my schedule. Everything is updates on the schedule. Information on that is my social media. That's my Discord, Blue Sky, Sessions. I think those are all the shoutouts I have. I try to get it a little bit quiet here, but you know, it's an interesting video. And I hope you enjoyed learning about this place. I wanted to expand beyond the city-states and information that was in the 4th edition Dark Sun book, which I really loved in the 4th edition Dark Sun book. It didn't shy away from very dark topics that exist within Athas and Dark Sun, but they didn't get into a lot of the fine details and places and stuff too, which was fine. They gave enough information on a lot of those places. But exploring beyond that has been very fun to be able to do and kind of look into these places. So I hope you enjoy as we visit some more city-states on this one here. Anyway, until the next time, I bid all of you out there a deep and wonderful farewell.